MSR has been continually working every year to improving their gear. They're listening to riders' feedback, they're adding pockets to the pants, and they just recently launched this new competitor to premium helmets. This is the MSR Carbon Hex helmet. We got our hands on this helmet 3 weeks ago, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you my experience with this helmet, the things I like about it, some of the things I don't like about it, compare it with some of the other helmets that I've been wearing recently, and honestly just share with you kind of my perspective as an experienced rider and what I look for in helmets. So let's jump right into it. The first thing that I really consider with helmets is just safety. I know that sounds cheesy, but safety is by far the most important thing for me. I have 3 kids, I'm married, I have a home that I like to take care of, and I want to keep myself safe. So I'll be honest, I was pretty skeptical. MSR is great. They have been improving their products every year, but when you compare it to the most premium gear out there, is it as premium? That's the question I have. I wore fly racing gear for 10 years. I really like fly racing gear, especially their Formula helmet. This is probably my all-time favorite helmet. I have spent a decade, not quite a decade, probably 6-7 years racing in this helmet. I love the technology in it. I feel really safe. So I put my helmet safety very, very high. This helmet, I've had it for 3 weeks, and I'll be honest, I'm still in that experience of kind of sorting out my feelings on how much I trust it. I did race in it. I've raced in it once and ridden in it 6 or 7 times already. And it's impressed me every time, and I'm trusting it more and more. 2 really big things that I look for when I'm looking at safety. Number 1, to some degree, I just have to rely on the experts and the designers and the manufacturers of the helmets and the technology that they're putting in them. So the MIPS liner, which is the multi-direction system that is a slip liner, the Rheon technology that you get in the Formula helmet, those blue impact cells, or even like the 6D helmets with their omnidirectional. You have to trust in what the scientists are making in the helmets. The second part is my own riding intuition and discretion. I've been riding motorcycles for a long time, and I've developed sort of an intuition to inspect and observe what I feel is safe and competent for my safety. Some of the things I look for are just the general size and shape. How much material is there? Another thing is audio feedback that you get when you're riding. Oftentimes in helmets you'll get a lot of wind noise, but sometimes with a really good helmet like this Fly Formula, it seals very tight against your head and your face, and you don't get that much engine noise from your motorcycle. Whereas if you put on a really cheap mountain bike helmet, you're gonna totally hear the engine. That's a good indicator of how much material and how protected you are around your head. The short story is with this helmet, there hasn't really been anything that stood out to me in a good way, meaning that it's very comfortable. I felt safe in it. The size and shape of the helmet feels protective. It feels like there's enough safety and material there. It seals against my head relatively well, and I'm not getting a ton of that excessive audio feedback from the engine. So I'm trusting in it more and more. And then to layer on top of that, it does have the newest version of the MIPS Integra TX liner, which is different than the older version. In this Climb helmet, you'll see the yellow liner inside. Anytime you see that yellow liner, that is the MIPS system, but that's the previous version. The newest edition, it's actually just integrated into the comfort padding of the helmet. So that is where that slip liner lives. And the intention of that slip liner is when you do incur an impact with the ground, your helmet is gonna rotate because of the friction. And the intention of the slip liner is to reduce some of that rotation of your head and mitigate that damage, because that's where some injuries and concussions can occur. Comfort of this helmet. When I put it on, it was immediately comfortable. I get some pressure points even in the Fly helmet. Up here on the top, might just be due to the shape of my head. Everybody has a different shaped head, and choosing a helmet is really a personal decision, but one of the first things that I noticed was that it actually was very, very comfortable. I don't have a single pressure point. I've ridden it on multiple rides now. I've got a lot of time in this helmet, and it's very comfortable. It's very soft. The cheek pads are very soft, and it's actually very lightweight. I need to measure the formula, but I actually think that this helmet, in fact, just picking them up, it feels lighter than even the Fly formula. So it definitely is a lightweight helmet. That's something that's important to me because I also oftentimes put a GoPro mount on the chin area, and it just adds a little bit more weight. So I do like to have a lightweight helmet. I can tolerate heavier weights. I do so that we can get good content. However, it does help to have a lighter helmet that then offsets some of the additional weight from the GoPro. I wear a medium in the formula, and I got a medium in the MSR helmet, and the formula fits a little bit tighter than this one. So I would say that these are true to size because I've always felt that the formula is pretty snug. Now, I have been using the Fly helmet for so long that I have just found a system that works for me with mounting the GoPro on the chin mount. And that was something new that I'm getting used to with this helmet, is that we use the Dango Designs chin mount, and the shape of this mouthpiece is a little pointier, so it doesn't sit quite as well as I'd like. We do, when we're competing, we oftentimes will zip tie the mount to the helmet mouthpiece. That way it just kind of ensures that it doesn't fall off, but it still does work. So if you have a Dango Designs chin mount, it does work on there. Cost and affordability. This helmet is currently available at Rocky Mountain ATVMC's website for $350. Now, that to me is a great price for competing in the premium helmet market. A lot of these other helmets, $800, $730, you're looking at $700, $800 plus for the tier 1 premium helmets. This helmet, in its features, and so far in my experience with it, it's competing with these. I would still classify probably the 6D and the Fly formula as a tier 1 premium helmet, just because of that extra technology in there with the impact cells, the Rheon cells, as well as the technology that the 6D helmets have. I would probably put this helmet into a tier 2 premium category, where it's just a step below some of those other premium helmets. It kind of lives a little closer to where I would put this Climb helmet. Another really important feature for me, I put this last on my list because it really is the lowest priority, and that's just simply styling. I've ridden motorcycles for a long time. I've ridden with the Fly formula for a really long time, and this one is beat to death. I've crashed in this helmet a lot, but I just really like the looks of the Fly formula helmet. It's very balanced, it feels proportional, it has sharp lines. To me, it's one of the best looking helmets on the market. And so styling to me is important after all those other factors, safety and everything else. The MSR helmet, when I first got my hands on it, was actually a lot cooler than I anticipated. The mouthpiece is a little bit longer than normal. I do like how the visor is sort of integrated into the shell. I know that from a safety standpoint, oftentimes like Bell or Arai actually deter from that design, but I actually like the looks of having the visor integrated into the shell of the helmet. I think it looks really cool. As premium as this Climb helmet is, the looks just don't really jive with me that much. The visor looks kind of goofy sometimes. It's really comfortable, it vents really well, but when it comes to styling, I actually like the look of the MSR helmet a little bit more. Another really important thing to bring up is this is an MSR product, and if you're comparing it to any of the other MSR helmets, such as the MAV4 or the SC2, which they still sell, this is levels ahead. It's a completely different product, and we have experience testing those other ones, and for an experienced off-road racer, this is going to be the direction you want to go. For a very beginner that just needs a helmet to put on their kids, or if their wife's just getting into riding, the SC2 or some of the other MSR products are going to live in that area. But if you're an experienced rider that's going to be doing a lot of riding, this is the direction that this product fulfills and goes. We do our very best to share with you our honest experience, our honest thoughts. We have experience wearing different types of helmets, different gear, and really, with my experience wearing this helmet, it's hard to really name a whole bunch of things that I really like about the helmet, but It's also really hard to find a whole bunch of things that I don't really like about it, which I think says a lot to its design. For example, sometimes in the past I've worn helmets that I hear a lot of excessive air noise or wind noise, and that's an indicator to me that there's a lack of material and I lose confidence in how safe the helmet is. This helmet, I can wear it, it's comfortable, it doesn't irritate me in any way, it's lightweight, and I trust in its safety, so it doesn't really bring up any concerns. I think I'm just gonna keep wearing it and see how my experience goes. As with everything that we share on this channel, we are completely transparent, totally genuine. We do have a great relationship with Rocky Mountain ATVMC. However, we don't promote anything that we don't use or that we don't go try or believe in. And honestly, this helmet was one of the first real sort of tests to that experience for me, because I have worn this helmet for so long. You may still see me sometimes in a Fly Formula. You likely will see me sometimes in this MSR helmet, but that's because I genuinely am believing in something and using it. So as always, head over to Rocky Mountain, use the link in the description below. If you're already shopping there, this is a great way to support us. It supports us and our ability to keep making these videos and working every week towards helping you improve your off-road riding abilities and skills. We'll see you guys in the next video.